presentation for you. And John, I'm not even going to tell you what he's going to do, although I did see the presentation last night. I'll leave that entirely up to him. So I'll give John just a few seconds to introduce himself, and I hope you enjoy John's presentation.
Okay,
all right.
Probably I think it's probably the best.
Yeah,
I've never tried to keep up with slides before, so we'll see how it goes. My name's John Preston. I'm the other half of HR Department Dundee and Angus. It's a franchise that I bought with my wife last October, and I run the training side of that business. What I want to talk about today, though, is nothing to do with business at all, but something that has helped quite a lot in the setting up of my business, which is mindfulness.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
And we're on. So mindfulness has been gaining momentum in this country for a good few years now. I first got into mindfulness about 4 or 5 years ago, and I have used it to greater or lesser success, but just recently I think it's really made a difference to my life. So I'd like to take the opportunity to speak for a few minutes about that this morning. It dates back 2,000 years or so, and its roots are firmly rooted in Buddhism. Although, just to explain at the moment, I am not a Buddhist, not at all. I like a drink far too much. I don't really understand the concept of reincarnation. What I am is a regular guy who, at various points through my life, have suffered from a fair amount of stress. And I have tried all kinds of different things to manage that stress. It was probably worst about 4 or 5 years ago, before I started mindfulness at all, where it was affecting my daily life, it was affecting my sleep patterns, and it was getting worse and worse and worse. And mindfulness, I think, is something that everybody can use without having to be an expert on mindfulness to help manage that stress that we're all getting in our daily lives. Who drove here today? What do you remember about the journey? Not a lot. Probably not a lot at all. And I think that's true for most of us, because when we're behind the car, we're behind the wheel of the car, we're in autopilot. Our mind is full of all kinds of nonsense about everything that's going on, things that we've just done, things that we're trying to prepare for, things that we're trying to go to. There's not necessarily anything wrong with that. I like to go for a drive or a walk just to clear my head and to think about things for the day ahead. But it's where it gets to the point where it is constant that it can become a bit of a problem for everybody. It can become a bit of a problem for mental health, mental well-being, etc. It's quite a nice slide there, which I dragged off of the internet, and it shows the difference between us and our pets. You take a dog to a park and it's the park. We go to the park and it's everything that's going on inside our head, and we forget to actually enjoy being at the park. So what mindfulness is to me is a way of forgetting about the journey temporarily, forgetting about the destination, temporarily, and enjoying the journey. And it's helped me with my sleep patterns at night quite a lot as well. The way to do that is to think about the way the mind works and to think about where your thoughts come from. No, it's not. The thing to think about first of all is the Japanese tea ceremony. I was going to be ahead of myself with the slides. Okay.
All right, that's fine. That's the joy of the 2020.
Fantastic. Japanese tea ceremony is a highly ritualized process in Japan where people will get together and they will sit and they will drink tea, and they will make the tea in a particular way. They will sit silently while they drink that tea, and nothing else is allowed in. I try to adopt that principle with at least one meal a week. It probably should be more than that, but let's start with something realistic. 1 meal a week, I like to think about just eating. And that has given me, just eating and just what I'm eating. And that has given me an enormous amount of health benefits as well, because when you take the time to actually think about your food, it's amazing how salty and sweet and generally unpleasant processed food can taste. And I've actually lost a stone through mindful eating over the last 6 months. So it's had that unexpected benefit as well. Back to understanding the thoughts. The thing about thoughts is that it's not our conscious mind that is in the driving seat most of the time. It's our subconscious mind. And our subconscious mind does its very best for us, but it evolved in a different time. It evolved when threats were very real and threats were life-threatening, so it tries to protect you from that. And there's not a lot of mileage in remembering the good stuff. What your brain tends to do is remember anything that's gone wrong, fire that back at you, and try and stop you getting yourself into that situation again. So through the course of any given day, If you think back on your day, the chances are you are biased towards the bad things that have happened and don't remember the good things that have happened. Technique that we can use to address that is called anchoring, and that simply means that whenever something nice happens, or you realise that you're enjoying yourself or having some fun, pinch your fingers together, commit that to memory. And then when you're feeling down, all you really need to do then, pinch your fingers together and it will bring back the good stuff. I'm going to try and exercise for the last part of this. What I would ask everybody at the moment is don't think of a blue elephant. And I did say to Graham, if I got to the blue elephant, I'm okay. The slides now are just background, so don't worry about hooking up with anything. It's fantastic. Okay, the part of you that thought of a blue elephant is your thoughts. You had no control over that whatsoever. Your thoughts are things that happen. Your thoughts are not you. The part of you that thought, oh God, I mustn't think of a blue elephant, that's you. And that's the part that I need to tap into for this exercise. If you are prepared to do so, I would invite everybody to close their eyes at the moment. You don't have to if you don't want to. I appreciate we're in a slightly less than comfortable space with lots of people that we don't know here, but close your eyes or look at the slideshow, it's up to you. And while you're closing your eyes there, just concentrate on your breathing. Just think about yourself breathing in and breathing out. Try and think of nothing but breathing for the moment, so you're breathing in and you're breathing out. And now I want you to visualize a river. A nice, slow, meandering river that's maybe working its way through the Scottish countryside or the Albanian countryside or anywhere that you've been recently where you can picture yourself sitting on the bank. And it's autumn time, so there are various leaves that are floating down that river. And you're just watching the leaves float by. They're swirling round, keeping pace with the current, moving at various different speeds down the river. And if you can keep that image in your head for the moment. Every time a different thought pops into your head, what I want you to do mentally is to pick it up, put it on a leaf, and watch that thought flow down the stream. Your first thought will probably be, I'm not having any thoughts. But then what you need to realise is that the thought, I'm not having any thoughts, is still a thought, and that can go on the leaf, and that can pop down the river. And I will leave you to think about that for a couple of seconds. Every time a thought enters your head, you're just observing it. Okay, open your eyes now if you want to. The reason we did that exercise is to demonstrate that thoughts are thoughts. Thoughts are things that happen. Things are not necessarily things that you have to react to. And if you can make that distinction and you can choose how to react to how you're feeling on a given day, it can be very, very empowering. And that's what I've used mindfulness for over the last year or so, and it's had a great effect on my well-being. I enjoy the full day now, and not just when things go well. Thank you.